What's going on, guys? Today we have a fragrance from the House of Imaginary Authors. Really excited about this one. I think in the Imaginary Authors lineup, you guys probably haven't heard of this one. It's not talked about very much, but the title alone should get you excited. Strap up.
Okay, I watch that head move side to side as I let the sin into the room. You were on time, let's connect minds. Trying to get into a mood. We gon' be fine. Close up the blinds, no rush. Finish the food.
All right. Welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the evening. Today, from the House of Imaginary Authors, we have The Language of Glaciers. Let's see if I can give you guys any quick info before we go into this. Fragrance was released in 2024, and it says, have you ever stood alone atop a mountain with chunky snowflakes swirling around? Such is the splendor you will experience within The Language of Glaciers, a romantic epic which reaches incredible heights and inspires one to leave no moment unappreciated. From the stillness of a moonlit snowshoe excursion to the rush of witnessing an avalanche safely from above, the recollections of our unnamed narrator will captivate you the same way the solitary song of the snow owl captivated them. Find comfort in the cold and begin to see the world from stunning new perspectives. Critics have called it a slow-paced story that will burrow straight to the center of your soul and, quote, sharp as ice and smooth as a glacial lake. Okay, I'm expecting icy cold. I don't know what else I should expect. Let's do an initial impressions. Now, to be as accurate and as helpful as I can, because I don't have a sprayer on this, sometimes you guys hear me all the time stress the importance of getting an atomizer when you're testing a fragrance, but sometimes I'm ordering so many fragrances, I need to look in other vendors who provide certain fragrances I can't get my nose on, and they typically will not offer an atomizer unless it's 5 to 10 ml minimum. So I have my skinny strips. I've doused this, and for your benefit, I will put this on skin to get at least a skin test along with this test strip. Language of Glaciers. Again, I expect icy cold. Don't know what else. Maybe, and then, probably nature or something like that. I've doused half of this, so might take a half a second. I've sheened up the wrist. I love Imaginary Authors. They don't always give me a scent that I know I want to wear, but it puts me on a nose journey. I love their packaging and presentation. I love the creativity. I love the story. It doesn't seem like they're capping with their aesthetic and story. It seems like they're genuinely trying to do innovative and creative things in fragrance. And for that, whether I like their fragrances or not, I will support a house like this because they do have some bangers. I have a couple of their fragrances in my collection, Memoirs of a Trespasser, Slow Explosions, and I've tried many of their scents. So we will walk through the entire house at some point. But this one captivated me. Okay, I do get a mentholic, not necessarily like a spearmint or medicinal feel, but it's a nose spritz of this kind of dry, airy, mentholic mix of green and cold air. It actually does feel medicinal a bit, almost like a eucalyptus and mint. Yeah, it's almost like wearing icy hot while being on top of a glacier. The icy hot isn't super, it's not super close to icy hot. It's more Vicks, the standard Vicks flavor. In the lightest way possible. It's not like so intense, but it is there. Okay. And it warms up a little bit on skin to be more of kind of this fresh, spicy green overlay on top of the kind of glacial eucalyptus, slight Vixie background, but it definitely warms up to be sweeter and greener on the dry down. Now, people have stressed this before, how could it possibly be at a dry down at this point? It is, but maybe it might have more transition after a while, but it definitely is a subtle difference from strip to skin. Strip, it feels more medicinal. On skin, feels warmer, greener, sweeter, a little bit of florals. Let's go ahead and move to our research. This got a 3.39 out of 5 out of 393 votes. So this is kind of one of those things where I can try to interpret why this score is for you, but it's going to probably be subjective. I think that this is a pretty good fragrance, but due to the medicinal nature of it, it may scare people off as feeling more like an aromatherapy candle than a fragrance. So I think that plus I really think that's just what it comes down to. Because I think some people who enjoy things like this, could really love it. I mean, it's a very well balanced fragrance. It smells good. But yeah, I think that just medicinal nature to it or that kind of aromatherapeutic vibe is what's throwing people off. But I don't know if I think this is bad. I just think this is more of a case of where do I wear it? How do I wear it? Type of thing. But it definitely matches the description. The blend doesn't feel synthetic or off. It feels creative and fun. Look at this. Pine, snow, lilac, cashmere, juniper, blue bugle, and forget-me-not, some sort of floral. So it's very floral, very green, and very icy. I do get that lilac feel. Again, it's this very aromatherapeutic feel, but I honestly, I think you guys will be quite surprised at my rating of something like this. Do they say it's like anything? Nothing that I'm familiar with. Florida Poe from Diptyque? That's a little stretch. Florida Poe, I believe, is a soft, musky, powdery iris skin scent. I don't quite get that from this. This will be a very short review, I feel. Completely unisex because it's a transportive fragrance. It's not meant to complement an occasion, I think. It's more of a vibe, a mood, or a vibe that takes you out of what you're currently in. It's outdoorsy, it's fresh. It is aromatherapeutic and medicinal, but in the most tasteful way possible. It's not off-putting at all. The blend is beautiful. There's almost this kind of slight wet metallic snow. It's not super metallic, but you get the sense of when water meets cement kind of damp and scent profile that goes with that. I do get the green notes. Fresh spicy is it's not very spicy at all. Yeah, it's just nice. I actually think this is quite calming, soothing. Think of something like a Oolong Cha. It's not in that DNA, but it's a similar vibe. This is something you might wear when you want to relax. You're stressed out and you want to just wear this around the house. It might feel like you lit a eucalyptus mint candle or something like that. I do want to stress that I keep saying aromatherapeutic and minty and icy. It isn't completely that, but it is like 70% that. There is this little dance in the background of this kind of purple and white floral touch, even on skin. A little bit of this more sweetness and greenness to it. I'm not mad at this at all. I think, let me just go through the stuff. Unisex, ageless. I think 25 and up on each gender would appreciate this more than, I think the older you are, the more you would appreciate it, unless you are kind of more a unique, different kind of individual than who, if you find yourself as a kid being drawn to things like incense and soaps and rocks and maybe gothic touches, or just being into stuff that people aren't usually into. Like you're somebody who's struck by curiosity always, and you find pleasure in learning new things and getting unique experiences. This is your fragrance if you're younger. It doesn't feel old. It doesn't feel like it has an age. It's just transportive. Again, it feels like you kind of hit yourself with a little small stroke of some Vicks or like some candle wax from like a eucalyptus mint candle, and then went up into the mountains in an icy mountain, and just the breeze is just, you get a little bit of earth from the breeze. You get mostly this iciness. And a little bit of floral and green dance behind it. It's very soothing, very peaceful. It's refreshing. I'm a fan. I would give this at least an 8. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's even fall or winter leaning. I think it can actually go any season, any reason. I wouldn't really wear this in heat, because sweat and the oils from your skin and then just the feeling of heat would, I think, mess up the profile and not make it come off as refreshing. But I think anything like 75 and below, day or night, I think it would shine in fall, winter, just because it matches that mood. But I think as long as there's a breeze in the air and it's not blistering hot, that weighty heat, as long as that's not present, you could certainly wear this spring, summer, because it's so transportive. If you're in a house, it's a great scent. I mean, think about this, right? This isn't the only occasion, but like, let's say you go over to somebody's house with your friends. You guys are doing board game night, or you're watching a movie, or you're hanging out just casually, just shooting the breeze. Having this on would be such a vibe. Or even fresh out of the shower with this, or maybe you were at the pool and then you showered and you put this on, or you're on a vacation, you took a shower in the morning and then you wear this to just walk around and feel weightless. You know what I'm saying? This is just, I think it's a great scent. I think it might grow on me, but it's at least at a solid 8 for me. I don't really see any replacements to something like this. I mean, I think about fragrances in the vibe of it, but not necessarily the scent profile. There's a little bit of Seraphim Blue from Zaharoff in terms of tonality. Vibe-wise, maybe a Wulong Cha, a Brioni Eclat. Yeah, those are the ones that stick out to me the most so far. Maybe even like a Maison Francis Kirkjohn Aqua Media or Aqua Universal. It just has that air to it, that therapy to it. It's really good, though. It's not overly medicinal at all. In fact, the more it dries down, the more it chills off the mint cooling feeling. I'm a big fan of this, man. If I could give it a decimal, it would be somewhere between an 8 and a 9 for me. I think, again, you have to be a individual who appreciates things like candles and oils and things like that, especially if you're a young person. I think older people could feel this more, but 25 plus. But this is a vibe. I think this does something for your collection that maybe you can't quite get, I honestly feel like fragrances like Versace Eros Blue, is one of the reasons why that fragrance is so successful, is because it's got this fresh kind of lavender mint brush on top of that sweet profile. You know what I mean? That little lavender brush touch does a lot for a fragrance. And in this case, it's lilac, but it's doing the same thing. It's kind of just bringing this kind of slight sweet green air. You know what I mean? It's just this refreshing burst on the fragrance. And a lot of fragrances do that. Le Male Elixir, I believe, has a lavender brush. Ombre Noir from Lalique has a bergamot mint papyrus lavender brush, I believe. Seraphim Blue has a kind of a brush to it. It's really nice to me. I would wear this. I don't know where. I would wear it around the house, or like a game night, or maybe like, my son's birthday's tomorrow. So there'd be a dope fragrance to wear around the house. The kids are all playing around and I just want to be in my own vibe of peace while I'm doing all this work. It would be a great fragrance. I'm digging it, guys. I really am. Bare minimum 8 out of 10 for me on the spray test. what do I want to say? I think the fragrance goes retail for, I mean, and look at this. Let me say this again. I don't get too much cashmere, but pine, snow, lilac, juniper, bugle, and forget-me-not. I mean, how could you not like that, to me, in my opinion? Joma's selling this at retail for, again, with imaginary authors, you can get them in 15s or 50 mLs, which I think is appropriate for this type of scent. It's not meant to be a Swiss Army knife of a fragrance. It's meant to be a vibe. So it's showing 115 on Joma. Things like Olfactory and Olfactory LLC and I forget where else. There's some other ones out there, but I've seen a lot of imaginary authors fragrances get as low as 70 or 80 bucks, but I still think it's worth the 115. Very quality scent, very well balanced. It's just, do you like the scent profile or not type of situation, but have a high respect for it. Bottle presentation is awesome. Again, when you buy these fragrances, they come in this kind of eco-friendly cardboard artsy rendition of a book. And then it has these really cool artsy abstract stickers over top of them. It's a really cool presentation. And like with mine, when I got Slow Explosions, they put a tester sampler 2 ml of Memoirs of a Trespasser, which led me to buy that. So I think if you buy an imaginary author's fragrance, they automatically randomly throw another fragrance in there for you to try, which is awesome. I think it's worth retail. But just so you guys have the information, you can snag it up probably around the $70 or $80 price point. Again, this was Imaginary Authors, The Language of Glaciers. Solid 8 out of 10 for me. Might even grow to a 9 just due to the uniqueness and the blend. Yeah, it's cool, man. It seems like it's got pretty good, like at least 6+ hours of longevity. It's not super sillage-y, maybe like 2-3 feet at best. Very strong votes for moderate sillage and longevity. So at least 6 hours, probably at least 2-3 feet from what I'm feeling in the air. And that's perfect for a fragrance like this. You don't want this like a aromatherapy fragrance to be beast mode, but you also don't want it to be too quiet because then you don't feel the vibe. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this fragrance. Let me know in the comments section below if you're into it, got your eyes on it, or have already tried it, and let me know your comments. I do talk back. Like, comment, subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. I'm going to recommend 2 videos for you in the boxes right here on the left and right. One being what YouTube thinks you might enjoy based off your search and how you've been digesting my content. And then I'll show you another video on the screen here that has been doing well, that a lot of people are gravitating towards who are already fans and supporters of my channel. So stick around. If you're into fragrance, we cover every single type of fragrance, price point, style, etc. And this is where you want to be, because I'll just put a camera to my journey and try hundreds of thousands of fragrances. So if you're into that, hop on board, man. Scent Bubble signing out. Be blessed.